Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor. We're back with another episode of One Leeds. We're back with, is it another episode of One Leeds? An episode on One Leeds, I should say. We're back with another video for you guys. Now, I've mentioned this beforehand, of course I have. Where is my trusty t-shirt? Here it is. The Bremner one, which is braced for the running. We've got loads more topical things like this with the merchandise. We've got One Leeds merch, Archie Gray merch, Jorginho Rutter merch, all your summer merch as well. We've got mugs on there. We've got hats. We've got everything for the summer. Make sure you check that out, everybody. We have a free giveaway as well. As I keep saying on each video, comment, we are going up, and a random generator will pick one of you guys to win a free bit of merch, which can be whatever you want. Now, to be precise as well, if you sign up and you bought something already, you get 10% off your next order. Not only that, everybody, but we will be doing some exclusive giveaways for a much smaller pool of people as well on the Patreon. We're going to start doing more giveaways on there as well. So sign up for that, everybody. Generation Leeds will be out today as well. So, yeah, everybody, hope you're all doing really well as my assistant passes me a coffee there, which... It's a frothy coffee with coffee coming off it. Yeah, there we go. A frothy coffee there. But yeah, hope you're all doing really well today anyway. But let's get in to today's news, shall we? Okay, so we spoke at Ellen Road yesterday at length, really, about what Daniel Farke was speaking about. But there were a few things which obviously I missed out on because I was down in Leeds on a bit of business, which was very exciting. And yeah, meeting with some top people at the club, of which hopefully it'll give me a little bit more understanding on what to deliver to you guys in terms of understanding and meeting people who are down there who are high ranked at Leeds, which was really nice that they got in contact. And it basically means that I'll be able to deliver to you guys a little bit of a more clued up message as well regarding the club, which is very, very nice. So yeah, okay, let's get into it specifically anyway. And I'm going to counteract what I've just said as well, because I didn't specifically hear anything like this, but sources this morning are reporting that apparently Leeds United have a deal in place for Joe Rodon. This could be absolute fabrication. It could be false, the two Fs. It could be indeed. But I'm just reporting to you guys what I've seen this morning from a couple of sources. Apparently Leeds at the end of the window have a deal in place regardless of what happens for Joe Rodon. Now, do I believe this or do I not believe this? Well, I guess the first bit of conversation is, how much would you pay for Joe Rodon? Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am not in charge of the budgets at Leeds United. But what I will say is, I don't think a sort of like 15 to 20 mil valuation of Joe Rodon is probably something I would go for. I genuinely believe there are as good as centre backs. I think Joe's been unbelievable this season. But I think, worst case scenario, Leeds, especially with conversations that I've had as well, are very clued up in terms of the data, which is kind of all the stuff that we knew, but the preparations are underway, sort of thing, for what's going on. But also what I would like to say is, there are players out there. Nathan Wood is who I've spoken about continuously at Swansea. I think we'd be able to get him as a comparison for probably about 8 million-ish, 8 to 10 million. So what I'm trying to say is, if we're going above 15, we're going to 20, we're going to, Daniel Levy's valuation, which shouldn't be that high with Rodon's contract remaining, which really isn't that much whatsoever. I think he's surplus to requirements as well, as we know at Tottenham Hotspur. I feel that it would make complete sense for Leeds to get that one done, but I wouldn't want to go too far over the obvious valuation, because I genuinely believe, Wood as an example, there are defenders out there who we could get better value for, who potentially could be better players as well. So I wouldn't go full scale, full in on that one. But yeah, Rodon, apparently Leeds have a deal in place to sign him at the back end of the season. Now, it's going to be really interesting to hear what happens regarding everything, really, at Leeds United. Now, there is no panic. Absolutely no panic. They are extremely happy with Daniel Farke. 93 points they would see as a success this season. And going into the summer, they are looking... I think there's an understanding that one or two may go. There is an understanding of that. But there is also an understanding that one or two may come in. And there is no panic at all. There is no throwing the dummies out the pram. There is nothing like that. And it's nice to hear. It really is nice to hear, and it was pretty obvious when I was sort of speaking to someone yesterday that there is full belief in Farke. There is full belief in the project that's going on now, and I think they've sort of landed on the feet a little bit with Leeds fans because of what's happened previously. They're constantly in communication, trying to understand the fan base, trying to get a good gauge on what's happening. And I think that's really good from a marketing perspective. I really do, to be honest, and a comms perspective as well. So it's really nice to hear that the 49ers are sort of like on the ground and on the level and are not worried. And I think that's, I've mentioned this in a few videos as well. Leeds fans are naturally worried, and the discourse is about what's going on after the season's ended. Is Somerville going? Is Nonso going? Is Gray going? And we've mentioned this in the videos before. It's worries of mine. Of course it is, because then you have to start again. Then you have to financially then be able to go out and buy players. You then have to look at the three coming down and potentially the three coming up as well. If we look at Ipswich and what they've done this season, the three coming down are going to be financially backed. They're going to be in a really, really good position. A lot of them already have championship squads. So I think that may be a little bit of a realization potentially for the 49ers that this may be, well, it's not going to be as easy at all as this season in terms of obviously us being one of the three coming down. But what I will say is there is no panic. There is an understanding that it's not going to go wild in the summer transfer window. They don't need to do anything. But as well, when it comes to recruitment as well, they are looking, now at things going on. And I think when you look at the 49ers in general over there in the States and how they run a business, they just don't panic. And we are used to owners panicking, hence why we panic and we think there's going to be a fire sale. There is not going to be a fire sale. And I was unequivocally told that yesterday at all. There's going to be nothing like that happening, which is great to hear. But Daniel Farke was speaking in his press conference, and as well, something that I sort of understood as well was Daniel Farke pretty much mirrors Parag in terms of temperament, in terms of ideology, in terms of who they are as people. They're pretty much mirrored, which I found quite interesting. So when I was listening to the press conference though the other day, just taking this back to what I was speaking about originally, he was sort of talking Farke about experience, and he was speaking about Morsey, he was speaking about Luongo, and Leeds don't have those type of players. But what I would say in sort of a bit of a back towards Daniel Farke is we have better footballers. So yeah, experience wise, I mean Glenn Kamara is 28, so I would maybe argue against that. Gruev, I understand, is 23. Ampadu's 22. Archie's 17, 18. So, yeah, I mean, we haven't got experience, but we had the chance to rectify that. So we can't really complain about that because we've had chances to rectify that in the January window and summer window. So it goes against everything that I was speaking about previously, really, in terms of being calm and collected and stuff like that. If Daniel Farke really wanted experience and he really wanted old wise heads in there, if he wanted a Sam Morsey, if he wanted a Massimo Luongo in that midfield experience, you would have got the 49ers doing something 100%. So, yeah, I didn't really understand why that's now coming out. I know he was asked about Ipswich. I get that. But him specifically quoting Sam Morsey and Massimo Luongo and essentially saying, yeah, we almost wish we'd have players like that. Well, we've got better footballers than they have. We've got a better team than they have. Let's not. And this isn't me having a go at Daniel whatsoever, but let's not have these excuses out now. We've got a more than good enough team right now going into the playoffs to get up, and I don't want to start hearing excuses now. But what we did hear as well was Pat Bamford, the injury is longer than what we expected, which is a shame because, look, you guys know that I'm not the greatest fan of Pat Bamford, but what Pat Bamford does give you is a ridiculous experience at championship level, experience in playoffs as well. So that is going to be a miss. Of course, it's going to be a miss going into the playoffs, especially when you've got an out of form Joe Peru, who is definitely going to be starting every single game, which is just going to kill us, in my opinion. And then probably an underused Matteo Joseph being there as well, who is going to be coming in cold if he does come in for these final games. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, a lot to consider really there. Pat Bamford's injury, similar to Rutter and similar to Strauch's, is something that they didn't expect, which seems to be a theme this season. Players have gone out and, Farke's essentially come out and said it's unexpected how long they've been out for. Don't know why that's happened, but it is what it is. So it looks like Pat's potentially going to be out for a few games in the playoffs as well, if Leeds are to get to the final, which is a big shame with something, because these games are where you need your experienced heads. They're where you need your experienced heads. And Pat had got on a little bit of a run. You were hoping that he'd started a little bit of a run in that Middlesbrough game, obviously injured. But what we always forget with Pat is he's always been injured his entire career. So maybe we forgot that. And we were talking in the midst of Perot, Joseph, and Bamford, and then we forgot that nucleus of the problem, which is Pat Bamford. Is not only streaky form-wise, but he's always streaky injury-wise as well. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a problem, and let's hope that's rectified pretty soon. But guys, I want to hear what you think in the comment section below. What do you think to Farke's comments? What do you think to Joe Rodon on the valuation and everything else? Make sure you check out the giveaway on the Patreon. We've got loads of stuff coming today. I'm doing personally an analysis of Southampton coming up. We've got Generation Leeds as well. We'll have all your reactive stuff over the weekend as well. Make sure you're tuning in to One Leeds throughout the weekend. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody, and I will see you on the other side. Cheers.